Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing the Hotpoint. Now, I think this is going to be probably a long video, like at least 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to sort of go over everything and sort of give my take on it, if you will. And then, because I've never actually reviewed this machine, then I'm going to be giving it a score out of 10. So first, I want to start off with really obvious stuff. The door is pretty stable. Obviously, over the years, it became less stable, but this has actually been replaced before, but we replaced it. That was my idea. It saved us a lot of money. I mean, not me to brag. The bearings are really bad now, but yeah, the door seal is as well, and that's partly due to the bearings. But the door seal is really good. It's never leaked. And, yeah, like, it's never leaked, and it's been pretty good. Also, the Indesit drum. This was, like, obviously the first range of these, Indesit drum machines, Indesit made Hotpoints that were fully Indesit made. I actually don't have a problem with it, but I think now I'm sort of going to get into the cycles. I quite like the logos they've got there, but yeah, Cottons is just, you know, it's your standard cotton wash. Synthetics, Synthetics 50, Fast Wash 60. It says 3 kilos, but you can put a full load in and it washes fine. In fact, the rinse, it fills up like up to there rather than here, which isn't actually what it usually does. Baby cycle, it's pretty much a synthetic cycle, but it's intensive. It's very similar to shirts, actually, except it's not as delicate. Shirts here, it uses actually more water, it gets up to here, but with superwash, I want to talk about superwash in a minute, it gets up to about here, and that's not even a joke, and it can actually kind of be scary when that did happen. I think I do have a few pictures of it, but yeah, maybe I'll like post a link to like a where you can look at that on my discussion tab. You should use that more. Yeah, superwash on cotton cycles and synthetics, it raises the water level from around there up to around here. The cottons will probably absorb it anyway, it just makes the clothes more drenched. But also it extends the wash. Well, the shirts the baby cycle, it fills up to about here on the main wash on normal, and about here with superwash. The lingerie cycle, it's kind of like the delicate cycle. It's not that delicate, but it reminds me of number 8. I like how it's like number 8, number 9, number 10 there, but you got delicate, woolen, and hand wash or silk, because silk is the hand wash cycle. I'll get into that in a minute. It's the same as my old candy, but the lingerie cycle, it's a very strange wash because it gets up to the door, and it gets up to about here actually. It does sort of these tumbles where it's slightly faster than cotton tumbles, but it's not as fast as like the cotton rinse tumbles. Wool, you already know what it is. It's very infamous. It does the distribution, whatever. It doesn't actually really tend to heat to 40, I don't think. I think it actually stops heating, and even if it did, it probably reached about 35 or even 30. Obviously extra rinse adds another rinse. Silk, it's basically the new Hotpoint version of the hand wash. The difference being that it's got, I think it uses more water, right? And it doesn't do a spin at the end, and the tumbles are more, it doesn't just go like this. It actually does tumble the load. A mini load, here's the problem. Here's why eco time on the Indesit is better than mini load, because with eco time, what it does is, depending on the load, even if you've got a bigger load, it will fill up to here, and then if it absorbs it, it will obviously make it so with wet clothes, it's up to around here, whether it's a small load or a big load. On here, it cuts out the normal fill. It only does a timed fill. So if you're using mini load on one of these machines, you really shouldn't unless you're doing like 1.5 kilos, because this machine does actually have automatic half load, and that's very necessary when the rinses fill up to here with a full load, you know, because it's the same as witch washers, Hotpoint, where it's just a time fill and after the normal one, but except on both rinses it comes up to the door, and it's actually higher than on the inset, because on the inset it's up to about here, on here it's up to around there. Wool, yeah. Eco Cottons, it just does some distribution in the wash, but it's a cold wash. It's slightly shorter than a normal cottons, a synthetic cycle. Fast wash 30, that's pretty much your express cycle on here. I mean, you can put fast wash 60 at 30 degrees and it takes a little bit longer, but not pretty much the same. The synthetics, yeah, that's just standard. It does an 800 spin, 600 in terms. The laundry does 400 in terms, none after the wash. I've never understood, synthetics doesn't even do a cool down, and it does 600 after the wash. Like even my old candy, it just drained after the wash. And then the shirt cycle, if you have an indesit, then the shirt cycle, you just use a jeans cycle. It just uses less water though. But yeah, the rinse, you probably know what that is. Reduced creases, it tends to spin down to 600 on cotton cycles. Yeah, it turns in-term spins down to 400, and it adds an extra rinse, and it makes the rinse tumbles slow, as in it doesn't do the timed fill, or maybe it does, it just does it slow. I really haven't really used that much. The baby cycle, that's 800, shirts is 600, laundry is also 600, wool is 600, cottons is 1400, fast wash 60 is full 1400, because unlike a lot of other machines, this does the full spin, which is good for a quick wash. The drawer, now I don't actually have the drawer, but you probably remember from some old videos what it does look like. It's got like a pre-wash here, main wash here, and then right here it's got a softener compartment. I've never understood the concept of, you know, having a pre-wash compartment on a machine that doesn't require, that isn't even a pre-wash. Also, yeah, laundry cycle, I would use that for if you're pre-washing something. And on wool, here's a tip: don't use mini load unless you've got a very small load, because the highest water levels I've ever seen is when I washed pretty much nothing. The rinses on the silks rinse was up to here, and on a shirt cycle I put cottons in. Here's the thing, if you put cottons in on a shirt cycle, it detects it and actually makes the water level higher to avoid creasing, because cottons are obviously heavier, which I can kind of understand, but it's a bit of a waste. But I added superwash as well, and I didn't add mini load, and it was about a load that was like this sort of much. And yeah, it used a lot of water. The rinses are only up to here, kind of getting out of focus now. But yeah, I'm probably rambling on a bit, but overall the machine isn't as bad. If it's lasted 7 years, and the bearings were going anyway, but the only replacement it has had that hasn't been like the door, the only mechanical thing is the heater. And we've kind of learned from that on like what to what like on sort of, no, to put it at a higher temperature. These paddles are pretty, I don't know, they're okay. They were like, you wouldn't, like, a lot of people say, oh, it's cheap plastic, but this really, unless you're throwing a brick in here, it really isn't gonna do. It's like fine, although this paddle here, it's the strongest of them all. I'm pretty sure you can get replacements. I found this drum weird always because it's kind of like the door seal is quite slim and then this hole is small and the drum comes up, whereas on my Nanas the bearings are kind of going and you can pull the drum forward but you can't pull it up. It's like the way they're designed. But anyway, at this point I am kind of rambling on, so yeah, hope you did enjoy. Actually, oh, here's another thing I want to just quickly go on a bit of a rant about the fact that the spin is 16 minutes long when it could easily be like 10 minutes. It does so many phases. It goes up to 600 and it like spins it. If you put it on a 600 RPM spin, it's going to do a spin and then it's going to slow down, then it's going to do anti-tumble, anti-crease, then it's going to spin again, then it's going to stop and distribute, then it's going to spin again. I've also always wondered what would happen if you were to put water in while it's on anti-crease, because it doesn't spin and it actually doesn't drain at the very end. Yeah, but there really isn't that much more to say. I would rate the machine a 7.6 out of 10. Goodbye.